people who don't know anything about the SQL Server and the basics of the SQL Server, and make sure that they understand what is the SQL Server, what we can do. At the end of the session, they can completely understand the SQL Server, can able to write queries, read the data, write the data, and manage your tables and all these things. So let me jump on to the session and take this session is a completely interactive session. This is not like your classroom or the college session like that. You feel free to talk, you feel free to chat whatever the questions you have. Make sure that we'll follow some standard structure to continue this session. So to helpful to, we'll make sure that as much as possible interactive. Yeah, so that it's going to be a kind of a working session kind of things, not the all the kind of a documentation, not like that. It's mostly a interactive working session to give you the hands-on on the SQL servers. To start with this today's agenda, I'm going to be cover the what is the course, what we are going to be covered, what are the different contents we are going to be covered through the this course, and I'm going to be covered with what is the basically what is the database means, and what is the database management system, and what are the different what is the Microsoft SQL Server will do, and what are the different types of the SQL Server versions, and how to make sure that you install your SQL Server and get your environment ready. So at the end of the and following the couple of concepts. So at the end of the today's session, we are going to be learning how to make sure that our environment ready and install the SQL Server on your laptop or the machine and get ready for hands-on from tomorrow. Okay, so the course content, let me just give you the very high level information over here. The course, we are planning to have this session for next 3 weeks based upon the progress and these things, and we may extend 1 or 2 days. That's fine, but we will try to cover as much as possible and give the detailed hands-on experience to the people who join this one and understand this one. And we're going to be covered, these are the very high level information. At the end of the session, we will share this deck and recorded session information, and the recorded session information, everything will be uploaded and shared with you. So every day we will go through the topics what we want to cover with the interactive manner. At the end of the session, we will allocate 5 to 10 minutes for the questions and answers especially, and during the session also. Yep. Hello. Yeah, during the session, if you have any questions, you can unmute and you can talk, or you can chat also. So we'll try to answer. We will make sure that most of the interactive manner. Mostly we will cover all the basics of the SQL Server from the beginning to the intermediate level. And we will go through the each statements to the subsequent classes. Here I just listed down what are the concepts we are going to be learning through with this course and with the dates. Any questions over here? Feel free to talk and raise your questions or concerns. Okay. Good. So basically this SQL Server Management Studio, right? SQL Server Fundamentals. What is a database? We all hearing about the SQL Server, database management systems. And basically what is a database? A database is a organized collection of data, which means whenever you created some website or whatever the information is stored in the system, it has to be stored somewhere and it has to be retrieved back. So if you create some applications, web applications, or your websites like the google.com, facebook.com. Okay, is anyone facing the same issue? Audio?
We are good with the audio.
Okay,
No, it's
so
okay.
yeah, so feel free to yeah, maybe the persons who are not able to hear, maybe you will try to rejoin. Uh, yeah, uh, okay, we'll share the slide. Yes, we'll share the slides after the course content. And yeah, if you are not able to hear, please try to rejoin the session so that it can be solved. Yeah, and yeah, basically the database. What I'm trying to mention over here is the database is the organized collection of your data. So basically, you need to collect your data and store and organize your data in the form of tables, and you need to read the data in the form of queries and the reports and views. So whenever you design some application, saying that you created your Gmail or something like that, you create your login. Whenever you are trying to log in to your Gmail, then it will validate your user ID, which means how would it know what is your user ID, what is your password, and whether you are entering the right username, right password. Because whenever you created a login, it stores the information in the backend, and whenever you are trying to re-log in, it will verify the information whatever you have provided with the stored information. So you are going to store the information in the backend for the further retrieval purposes. So like your banking information, whenever you created an account, all your account information, your balance information, everything will be stored behind in the system. Whenever you relog into your account, it will be retrieved based upon the person who logged in. So your data is storing somewhere. So to store your data in the organized manner, we need a databases. So is it clear? Any questions? Okay. Database management system. The database management system is the computer software to design the databases. Database management system is the computer software which will enable you to design the database, manage your database, and read your database information. So the different providers will provide different type of database management systems. Like Microsoft will provide Microsoft SQL Server is the database management system, which is a computer software which will allow you to create the database and to read your database and manage your database. Like other databases management systems in the industry are Oracle, Sybase, MySQL, Teradata. These are all the different type of database management systems. So by using this, okay, are you able to hear me, Rajesh? I heard that I see that voice is breaking. So is anyone facing the same issue?
We are hearing okay. So
Okay, I see few people are saying that voice is breaking.
yeah.
We
What
can hear you.
we
Okay.
hear you okay. I think maybe they have to log off and log in again.
Yeah. Please try to log off and log in again, and make sure that you have adjusted your headsets, or you if you are on the speaker or a headset, make sure that your speaker is make sure that working. Okay. Cool. So the database management system is the computer software which will be provided by the different vendors to enable your database and manage and organize and read your databases. Microsoft is one of the vendors. Hello. Yeah, Microsoft is the one of the vendor which will provide the Microsoft SQL Server is the database management system. Like Oracle has its own database management system, and MySQL is the open source database management system. So these database management systems will using some standards such as SQL, structured query language, ODBC or JDBC. These are the standards to interact the different objects in the database management system. So database is the organization of your data. Database management system is the computer software which will allow you to create, manage your databases, and SQL is the language to read, write, or update your database to perform some operation in your database management systems. Is it clear? So we should be able to answer if anyone asks you, okay, do you know the SQL? A SQL means that is the language to perform some operation on your SQL Server management system. Microsoft SQL Server. So Microsoft SQL Server is not the language. Microsoft SQL Server is the management system, database management system, which will allow us to create, manage our databases. Feel free to raise your questions and ask me any questions if you have anything. Okay. So basically, the four functional things what database management systems will do is data definition. You can create.
I do have a question.
Yes, please.
When we were talking about the last slide, you were talking about the Microsoft. That the
Yes.
Microsoft is it the parent organization? Like when we talk about the Oracle is an independent, or it also comes under the Microsoft?
Microsoft is the vendor or the is the organization which will provide a database management system which is called the SQL Server. So Microsoft SQL Server is the database management system which is
Okay.
provided by the Microsoft organization for the public.
Okay.
So the database management system will help us to create, modify, and read and retrieve your databases.
And for the Oracle, the Microsoft is still the vendor, or Oracle is an independent entity?
Oracle is its own organization. Microsoft is its own organization. So
Oh, okay.
Microsoft has its own DBMS system called the Microsoft SQL Server. Oracle has its own DBMS system called Oracle. Okay. MySQL is the open source database management system.
Okay.
Teradata is the different kind of database management system. So in the market, we have the different vendors which will provide, create their own database management systems, and they name and they offer to the public with cost or some free software.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yep. And to read and write or to perform some operations on the database management systems, we need to follow some standards such as SQL. Structured query language is the language to read the objects from the database management system. Cool. Okay.
Sir, I
Yep.
have a question.
Yes, please.
Sir, SQL is not clear. Kindly, if you repeat it in little easier words.
Structured query language SQL is the standard or the language to read the object from the database management system. So in that using the database management system, you can create databases, or you can read the databases, you can manage your databases. To create, read, manage, we need some language or some standards to perform these operations. A SQL structured query language is one of the standard which will perform these tasks for us. So if someone asks you, do you know the SQL language? That is nothing but a programming language or a standards which will enable you to manage your database management system.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Yes. So the thing is, during this course, we are going to be learn the Microsoft SQL Server fundamentals, right? So Microsoft SQL Server fundamentals means we are going to be learning about the database management system, DBMS, Microsoft SQL Server, which is provided by Microsoft, and to perform some operations on this DBMS, we need the SQL. So we are going to be learn about what are the standards of the SQL, which means how to create objects in the databases, how to read, write, query. So we are going to be learn about the SQL. and we are going to learn about other functional components of the database management system, like how to take a backup, how to restore your databases, how to give the access to the other people, and how to run the jobs on your DB. So along with the managing your databases, other database management system components also we are going to be learning. Any other question? That's good. So yeah, I have one more question. I see. Yes, we teach SQL. That's what I'm mentioning. So
No,
can
Kasi,
you please?
Kasi, sorry, Vishnu.
Yep.
That is me. I'm answering the questions.
Yep.
Questions. Okay.
Yeah.
This is Bhaskar.
Yes, Bhaskar. So who, for whom this is intended for? This is intended for the person who don't know anything about the databases. Okay. So you don't know anything about the database. You are just trying to learn the databases. This is intended for. So we will start from the basics. So what is the database? How to create? How to create your environment? How to create a database? How to read, write? So I'm seeing the messages. So I got one question maybe. Yes, I'm seeing the messages, Nisha. Do you have any question? Nisha, are you able to hear me?
So Vishwa, she's asking, Nisha is asking whether she's from different system stream. So she's asking like we can teach in simpler language. I think I'm not sure what exactly she means, but you can try to answer.
Yes, we are going to be teaching with a very, very simpler language. So the basics about the, so this content, we're not going to be talking about all the content what I placed in this PPTs kind of things. So these will be helpful for you to understand the basis of the components. Okay. So the first day we are going to be just covering about configuring your machine and the information, the hands-on. So this session completely go with the hands-on and interactive manner. Okay, the architecture and all these things will come into the later. So first this targeted for the basic people and the people who don't know about the databases and all. So we won't directly jump onto the what is the database architecture. Okay, Abhilash, we will cover that one later point of time. Okay. So the data DBMS systems, the Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle or Teradata, whatever the database management systems we take, that will cover the basic information about the data definitions, how to update your objects, how to retrieve your information, and how to manage your objects over here. And as I mentioned, Microsoft SQL Server is the DBMS, so which will enable us to create the databases and store information, right? So we need to configure our machines with the Microsoft SQL Server software. So DBMS is a computer software program, as I mentioned earlier. So we need to download. So there are multiple versions of the SQL Server available for the different purposes. So we need to go through that. We need to choose what is the right version for us to continue these sessions. So we need to download that software and install on our machine so that we can start working on that one. Okay. So the Microsoft SQL Server is the computer of the software which we have to download on our machine and install to continue to perform this database management system fundamentals. Is it clear? And in the Microsoft SQL Server, when you are trying to install this one, you will find a lot of editions. So the very high level editions are enterprise editions. So the enterprise editions is for the corporates or the enterprises which has the mission critical information and which has to be run 24 hours 7 days, and there should not be no downtime, and the systems has to be up and running, and it's very critical informations like your flight information, so your banking systems, all your mission critical informations if you want to manage and retrieve. So the Microsoft Enterprise SQL Server Edition is the best choice. So the Express Edition is the next one, which will enable for the small medium business people to create a production environment with 10 GB of less disk space. So you are storing your data, right? So your data is accumulating, and it will computed in the form of how much space it's taking. So if it is the less than 10 GB, you have the very small application, your data is very small, then you can take the Express Edition and you can productionize. So the Express Edition will come along with the same features, but the less disk space, and which is free. Enterprise version, it will cost. The same way, we have the Standard Edition, where it has the same kind of functionalities, but with the different pricing options, and later we can easily convert the standard version to the enterprise version based upon your usage. The developer version, for the developers who started working on this Microsoft SQL Server, they can create a small database systems and test it, and it's not the production system, but before going to the production, you can test all the Microsoft SQL Server uh, functionalities with the developer edition. So we have the different kind of editions. We have the enterprise edition, standard edition, express edition, and developer edition. For the learning purposes, we can go with the express edition, or we can take the enterprise edition itself. There is a evaluation edition which has the 180 days trial period. So you can go and download the 180 days trial period and install that one on our machine. Okay, is it clear on the Microsoft SQL Server versions? So you will get the question saying that which version I have to choose. So I'm starting the SQL Server now. I'm starting to learn the SQL Server, which is a database management system. So we need to download the SQL Server Express or the Enterprise Evaluation version. So I have provided a, yep, I'm not going to be the slide, reading the slides. Basically, as it is all everything will be go with the hands-on. So the basic small things will be better to give the better explanation and the better information. We just created the slides version over here. So once this one or two slides with the actual documentation covers, then yes, you can install this thing on the MacBook also, or in the MacBook also you can create your OS, Windows OS, and then install. Okay. Yes, you can install on the MacBook also. So you can download your SQL Server evaluation version from this link. I have provided this link. You can go ahead and take it from here. So once you download it, so let me. So that link will redirect you to here in this link, Microsoft site website, where you can download the evaluation period. You can download SQL Server 2016 evaluation or the SQL Server 2014 SP2. So what is this SP1 and SP2? So each year Microsoft will release, whenever it is a product release happen, Microsoft will release the SQL Server 2005, 2008, 2008 R2. Those are the different versions of the SQL Server. So one second, Meena has one question. Yeah, you need to download the Microsoft evaluation version from this link, or the link will be provided. So Microsoft will provide the versions like 2005, 2008, 2008 R2 like that. And after the product release happened, developer community, if they identified there is a there is a bug in the system, they will log the bugs. All the bugs will be accumulated and they will release a service pack. So after service pack released, so that contains the previous version plus some fixes to that one. Okay, so you can get the latest version, the SQL Server 2006 with SP1, or we can go with the SQL Server 2014 SP2. So any version is fine to continue to this session. So I would recommend you go and install SQL Server 2014 SP1, this one evaluation. So which has a 6 months evaluation period for us. Any questions? I think a couple of questions, but yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask you that you are talking about 2014 SP2 or SP1? But with 2014, I can only see SP2.
Yeah, 2014 SP2 means 2016 SP1 we have, 2014 we have till SP2. So the latest one is within the 2014 SP2, or you can go to SQL Server 2016 with SP1. For our
So which one you were recommending was 2014 SP2, right?
Yes, yes. I'm recommending 2014 SP2.
Okay. And what does this SP2 mean?
SP2 service pack. So after the each release, after 2014 release, after 6 months, they will try to collect all the bugs which the community got raised, right? Then all those bugs are combined with as a service pack. So they will give the fixes to the bugs as a service pack. So after 2014 release, there is 2 service packs released with the bug fixes. So 2014 SP2 means this is a SQL Server 2014 version with 2 service packs, which covering couple of the bugs fixed. So after that 2016 got released. So there is no SP3 in 2014. Now industry is running 2016 SQL Server, and after the SQL Server 16 release, there is a service pack, one more service pack got released. So that is the latest one. SQL Server 2016 with SP1 is the latest one. So after each release, there is a SP1, SP2 that will be like that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. Okay, once you to download this one, you have to create your login, like outlook.com, something like that, and you need to follow the instructions over here, download instructions. Then once you downloaded this one, this will be redirected to this screen. Once you downloaded and installed, this will be redirected to the installation center. So once you click on the installation, so there is a new SQL Server standalone installation we need to click on. Okay, once you gone through the installation, this will give you the, it will start from here. So let me it will go to check with all the updates and all these things. It will make sure that, so basically we have to restart the machine. So this is requesting me to the restart the computer. Okay, to make sure that no, it is forcing me to the restart the computer at this point of time. I can't do this one. So basically, it will go through the step by step over here. Here in the one of the installation rules, we have to select the feature selections. In the feature selections, we have to select the features what we want to install over here. I would recommend select all the features and just continue. And during the installation, it will ask for the two things. To continue this one, it is forcing me to the restart this one. Okay, I can point the two things over here. After you select the feature feature selection in the database engine, and it will ask to add you the administrator. Click on the add current user. That will give you that will add you the person who logged into the machine as an administrator to that SQL server. Okay, so we need to follow the same step-by-step guide over here. There is just a quick continue. Okay, two things you need to consider is in the feature selection, select all. After that, there is a step called create a new instance. So new instance, you can just click on the create a new instance, and you can give the name as it will directly take MS SQL Server as the instance name, or you can, if you want to rename your instance name, you can change it. And during the database engine, it will ask, there is a Windows authentication or the mixed authentication. So Windows authentication and mixed authentication. So these are the two things we need to understand over here. So what is this Windows authentication means? You have configured the SQL server on your machine. You have installed, right? If someone wants you connect to your server and connect to your database, it required authentication. So there are the two types of authentication. One is the Windows authentication, which means it will take the login credentials what you use to log into your machine. And if you are in the organization, it will take your domain credentials information. So basically, the Windows authentication will helpful for you if you are in the company network, and or if you are the only single person, you are just using your database, your Windows authentication is fine. A mixed authentication is the combination of either you can use the Windows authentication or you can use the SQL Server authentication. So what is the SQL Server authentication is? The SQL Server authentication will work with username and password combination. So let's assume you have a database created in your server and you stored it. Now you are trying to access that one. So you are trying to log into your Gmail. Okay, you give the username and password. So then it has to go back to your database and cross check whether the username and password what you created is accurate or not. So the application should connect to the server. To connect to the server at that point of time, that will pass with some username and password. That is the SQL Server authentication. But if you are trying to get it within your organization, just Windows authentication is fine. So I would suggest during the installation, you select as mixed authentication. Select mixed authentication. Okay, and then it will ask the password for user SA. So there is a user called SA, you need to give the password. So remember that password. That is the second thing. So this is the first step you need to remember. This is the second step you need to remember. And third step you need to remember during the installation is administrator. Administrator for the service. You can just click on add current user. So who have the access to this service what you are installing on your machine? The current user, which means the login person, whoever have, he has the control over the service. So if you just set these three and follow the instructions, it will take you to the installation guide, and you are able to completely install the SQL Server on your machine. So once you have installed the SQL Server on your machine, which means you have configured a database management system from the Microsoft or the Microsoft SQL Server on your machine. Is it clear, or any questions over here? Why I am going to this installation process today itself means, if you want to start hands-on, I would need you to install the SQL Server on your machine before to tomorrow's session. That way we can jump on to the concepts right away with hands-on. That would helpful for us to parallelly working on the same concept and see the results, and you will get hands-on on the things. Is it clear? Any questions? Okay, so once you install the SQL Server on your machine, so once you go to the services.msc, you go to the start bar, click on the services.msc, start run services.msc. That will show you what the services you have installed on your machine. SQL Server. Okay, so I have installed a couple of services on machine. So SQL Server 2014. This is the one version. So one machine you can install the multiple instances. So the same version, if you have installed the second time, that's called the instance. So on one machine you can create a multiple instances. So this will give you, so until unless it is running, so it has to be run if you want to connect to your database management system. So you need to make sure that come here and make sure that your services are running with the account or not. Okay, then the first step to connect to your database management system is go to the run window, click on SSMS. Click on SSMS.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Can you please repeat after what was when we start and run? What was the service thing? I could not get it.
Yeah, that is the SSMS. So basically, let me come back here. So I can share the second window also, so that you can see what I'm typing. Maybe for a second. You click on SSMS. Okay, run, and then click on SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. Okay. So SQL Server Management Studio, right? So this one is the graphical user interface. Once you click on this one, it will try to open this window, SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. This is the graphical user interface which is provided by Microsoft to access your database management system. So the server, whatever you have installed, the services, computer software, whatever you have installed on your machine. To access that one, Microsoft created a tool called SQL Server Management Studio. The primary purpose of this management studio is it has the component called Object Explorer, which will enable you to understand the all the different components what you have in your database management system. So let me try to connect to the my SQL Server Management Studio. Whenever I try to connect to the SQL Server Management Studio, it will ask for the server type. So what are the different types of servers you have? When you are trying to install your services, it will create a database engine and the other services. We'll talk about these services later while coming to the BI components. So there is a component called, we need to select database engine. Once you select the database engine, it will ask the server name. So here you can give the local host, or you can just select the drop down. It will list out, it will, once you browse it, once you try to expand your database engine, it will show up all the services whatever you have installed on your machine. So if you see here, I have installed 3 services: MS SQL Server, MS SQL Server 2014, MS SQL Server 2001. Various database engines are in my machine. But when you install, one thing will become as MS SQL Server. So you can simply go to the Management Studio, here expand and select the component what you are connecting. So this is the server name what you need to select. Then the authentication. It will ask you whether you are trying to connect to this SQL Server with the Windows authentication or the SQL Server authentication. So if you see here, whenever I select the Windows authentication, the username and password got grayed out because it doesn't require any username password. It will take the login credentials what you connected to your machine. When you select the SQL Server authentication, it will ask you what is the login name and password as we mentioned here, right? So the username and password page. So while if you want to connect to your database management system, you have to provide these credentials. If you select as a SQL Server authentication, if you select as a Windows authentication, it will by default take the credentials from your laptop. Is it clear? So now the question for you is, why we need a Windows authentication or a SQL Server authentication? Why not one? Why not one? So basically the Windows authentication will work within the organization, within the network. If you are within the network, then it can take the username and password what you take it. But if you are outside the network, if you are accessing the database from the public domain sites, the Windows authentication won't work. You have to give the SQL Server authentication. So whenever you are trying to read the data from the applications, different applications, you need the SQL Server authentication. Whenever you are trying to connect to from your organization, then you need to connect as a Windows authentication. So on your local machine, you can connect as a Windows authentication also. Once you click on the Windows authentication and connect, this SQL Server Management Studio will help us to see all the components what we have in our DBMS server. So here you can see we have connected to my server name / the instance name, and I have connected as my user administrator, and these are all the different objects I can see. So this SSMS, this is called the Object Explorer. Using this Object Explorer, you can connect to different databases. You can see all the components what you have in your server. Is it clear? Any questions? So till now we have learned about what is a database. A database is organization of your data in such a form of tables and views and structures. And database management system, which is a computer software which will allow you to create the databases, manage your databases, and administrative your databases. And different vendors provide the different database management systems. Microsoft is one of the vendor which will provide Microsoft SQL Server as a database management system. Right? The SQL is the language or the standard to manage your database management systems. So now we learned about the basics about database management systems, and now we are trying to install that computer software which is provided by Microsoft. For that one, we have the different versions of are available. We gone through the evaluation version, and then we installed that management system in our laptop. Then once you are trying to access your DBMS, you need the SQL Server Management Studio. This is inbuilt component. Whenever you select the features, this is the one of the features which will be come along with. So once you install this one, there is a service called the database engine. The SQL Server is running on our machine. Until unless it is running, you can't connect to the SQL Server Management Studio. So let's assume if I stop this one. So I'm going to be stop, or I connected to this service side. So I'm going to stop this service. Then I come to my database engine. I disconnect. I'm trying to connect it back. Database engine, server, and connect. It will throw out an error saying that network related or instance specific error. The service is running or not. So the server was not found or not accessible. It's telling that, hey, you are trying to connect to the server which is not running. So I have to make sure that my services are running. Right? Then I can connect back to the server. While connecting to the SSMS, there is a two types of authentications. One is the Windows authentication. The second one is the SQL Server authentication. Windows authentication is within the organization, within the domain, you can connect. The SQL Server authentication is a user name and password pair. By using this one also, you can connect to your server. Any questions?
Hi, it's saying please choose a file type, CAB, Azure, or ISO.
So you can take the ISO file. You can take the
Okay.
ISO file. Yeah, you can continue on that part.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So any other questions? Yeah, feel free to talk about, because this is the huge concept. What we gone through, the installation itself is a huge concept, but without having the installation, we can't continue on the further. We can't do anything, right? So I'm just trying to make sure that our machines are getting ready.
Vishwa, can you please
Yes.
show the students again how to open the studio? Some people are asking.
Yeah, sure. So let me share my first screen. Okay. Okay.
So,
Are you able to see the screen here
Vishwa, I
on
have
the
quick
taskbar?
update. Vishwa, I have quick update to the students. Hi students, I know there are some few questions regarding the installations. So tomorrow we'll try to show demo the installation one more time. Don't worry about the installation. We're trying to cover the one of the toughest thing in the beginning, because we want you to ready with the machine and with the software. But because Vishwa are not able to restart, we couldn't show you the step by step, but we'll try to show tomorrow one more time. So don't worry. So yeah, just want to give you a quick update on that. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Bhaskar. Yeah,
Thank
unexpectedly,
you so much.
yeah, it's forced me to the restart. So if I restart the machine, it will take around 10 minutes. So I don't want to go to that part. Feel free to try yourself, and if you are facing any issues, tomorrow we will go through the installation step-by-step process once again. Before further continuing anything, I would like to make sure everyone in the session get ready with the machine. As I mentioned, this session, this training is the interactive and hands-on. It's not just a talking, or it's not just I do execute the queries. So once we started on this one, I will start you to design, you to read, you to write the information. So that is the way of my style to teach the things. So at the end of the session, end of the training, I would look forward you to design yourself, read yourself, write yourself. So it's not me to do, right? So that's why I want to make sure that first 1 or 2 sessions will focus on configuring our machines, and everyone in the training should have the laptop ready with SQL Server installed on their machine. Is it sounds good?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, and can you show them how to open the management studio again?
Yes, yeah. So once you install the SQL Server on your machine, so you need to go to the run bar. Are you able to see my here? Just click on SSMS, or you can go to the start menu, all your programs kind of things, right? So here, wherever you have the SQL Server installed, just there is a management studio will be there. SQL Server Management Studio. Or you can simply click on SSMS. That will open the SQL Server Management Studio for you. Okay, so the server type you have to select is the database engine, and the server name is you need to give the machine name / the instance name, or some people will go by the local host. If you have the only one SQL Server installed on your machine, it can read through the local machine. Some people just go by the dot. So the dot or the local host are the kind of a alternative naming conventions, but in the production environment, whatever the environment, we would suggest you to give the complete name, which is nothing but your server name is going to be machine name / the instance name. Machine name / instance name. How would I know the instance name? You need to go to the services. Here in the braces of the SQL Server, it will show you what is the instance you have created. So I need to connect my machine name / this one. If you don't know that one, you can simply click on the drop down, click on the browse for more, and click on the database engine. That will show up whatever you have installed. Okay, I will post the step-by-step installation guide and the PPT for that one, and I will try you to go ahead and try to install this one, and tomorrow we'll go to the all the questions related to the installations. If you are facing any issues, we'll try to fix it, and we'll make sure that by end of the day tomorrow you have your machine ready. But I would recommend if you can able to download and configure your machine, please go ahead and just follow the instructions what we gone through the video. And the fun part start from tomorrow, how to create, how to get the hands on.
Hey Vishwa, this is Naren.
Yes, Naren.
So are you sending any cheat sheet, some sort of thing to how to configure this after this class so that everyone is ready by tomorrow?
Yes, we're going to be share the PPT and the link to download and the step-by-step to install. What are the features you need to get? So in the same website, Bhaskar, please suggest me. In the website, if you go and we can send out a mail also with the necessary instructions so that you can follow the instructions.
This information in the website by tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that's good.
The video session and then PPT.
Yeah, we will have the video session, PPT, and I will just place some document kind of thing so that it will help you to install on your machine. The persons who are using the Mac, I would recommend if you have the OS Windows version of the login kind of thing, so maybe you can have the two logins to your machine. One is the Mac direct login, another one is the Windows OS if you have the Windows OS. That's the alternative way, because not only the SQL Server to work with the Visual Studio and some other components later point of time. If you have the Windows OS on your machine, that's the perfect fit. But if you don't have Windows OS, you can try to download from the to the Mac and install the SQL Server. That's fine for now. Yeah, that's what for the Mac users. For the Windows users, there won't be any issues. Yep. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for joining the class, and I would like to see you tomorrow. And
Hi,
this
Vishnu.
is for
Hi,
yep.
Vishnu.
Yes,
I think your section being recorded, correct?
yes, it is recorded.
Is it possible to can send the maybe today or tomorrow, but everyday section, whatever your recording section,
Yes.
is it
So
possible to share everybody to the email?
yes. So basically, the thing is, we have met.
Vishwa, I'll take this question. We'll not send an email, but we'll share this information in the website. Once you log in on your profile page, you can see starting from tomorrow or day after tomorrow, but we'll keep you posted.
Oh, but
So yeah.
every day we have to download it, correct?
Yes. Or you can watch
So,
there online.
so basically, the sharing the through the mail is not the way. The way what we are envisioning is we will post the all the recorded videos and the PPTs what we used and the query scripts what we executed. Everything will be on the site, on the your login page. You can just go to the you can click on to the day where which one you want to see. In that one, you will get the repository of the information. You can download from there and you can execute, or you can view from there itself. So that way, and the course is going to be it's a completely hands-on and interactive, right? So we will have the everyday the queries what we executed, what are the outputs, and all these things will be recorded and shared with you.
I have a
Hi,
question.
Yes, please.
Like I have installed MySQL server in my PC already.
MySQL or
So
the SQL Server?
MySQL.
Okay.
So do I need to install again SQL server?
Yes, please.
So will that
So
work with me?
yes, it will work, and we are going through the SQL Server fundamentals. We are not talking about the MySQL here. That is the MySQL is the open source, which is
Yeah.
another DBMS system. So
Yeah.
in this course, we are going through the SQL Server, the DBMS system. So you need to install the SQL Server. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Thanks.
Yep.
hi.
Yep.
I have a quick question. So, do we need to have any background knowledge of SQL or any other programming language or anything related to
Nothing.
IT?
Yeah, nothing is required. If you have the understanding about just what is going to be do. So basically, if I am storing something, if I'm writing something on the web page or something, it is going to be stored somewhere. Whenever you log in, you are retrieving that one, right? So you don't need any programming language prior expertise. So all my classes will cover with the from the non-computer background science and with the different course of the students. So you don't need anything over here. You just need to understand the things and you need to put your time to practice the things. All I want from you is follow the sessions, practice, come back with a lot of questions. So you can send your questions to the SQLBI@TekZenius.com. I will share the email also. You guys feel free to send out your questions. We'll try to answer the questions through the mail also. And all you need is you need to spend your time to understand these things. No prior programming or any computer science background is not required over here.
Okay,
It's a
thank you so
completely,
much.
yeah, it's a completely for the newbies. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day and have a good night, and we'll catch up tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, will you share these recordings and the slides as soon as possible, like at the
Yeah,
earliest possible?
yeah, we will try to share by the morning. So that's what
Yeah,
Bhaskar.
because it will help, right? Before the tomorrow session, we can rewind or whatever we can.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, sure, definitely. That is the
Yeah,
target.
yeah. Thank you very much.
Sure.